Hello, welcome back to my haunted library. It's Regina. I hope you're all doing well. So I'm just thrilled because we're finally in spring and it's a beautiful day and it just lifts my spirits so much. So I am ready for it. I'm ready for just wearing a light jacket. Not that we had a bad winter at all. We didn't even have any snow. But spring and fall, of course, are my favorite seasons, and I know I'm not alone. So the other day I stopped by my favorite antique shop in town, and there's this one booth that sells like a lot of horror stuff, and I always stop there and I always spend a little money. So whoever owns that booth, I am your secret customer. So maybe we can meet up for coffee sometime. I don't know. But I love your taste, whoever you are. So I picked up some books and some comics that I thought I would share today. So just a short video. I'm sort of just getting back in the swing of making some videos. I've been very busy for the past couple of weeks at work and finally have a chance to breathe and smell the daffodils. So I thought I would just kind of show you what I've been doing and what I bought recently with some of the money I've been making at my job. So it's very dangerous to have like a favorite place that you love to shop nearby, but actually these were not expensive. So I'm going to share, and then at the end, after I show you everything that I got, I'm going to do part 3 of my Gothic romance softback books. So I did parts 1, parts 2, parts 1, parts 2, something like that. And you know what I'm trying to do. I'm a little hyper today. I don't know why. I think I'm just happy to be breathing in some fresh air and out and enjoying the sunshine. It's very invigorating. But yeah, I did parts 1 and parts 2, and I now will do part 3, which are the rest of my Gothic romances that are softbound. So I don't know if you caught my live broadcast. You can still watch it on my YouTube channel under live. I didn't even know that there was like a separate category because it's the first live video I've ever done. I've been the live guest on other people's videos, but this is the first time I did a live broadcast. And believe me, I was very nervous about the technical part of it. And unfortunately, I can't do it here in my library, or I would do more lives, but my lighting was off and whatever. But I had a lovely conversation with my 3 co-hosts for the Gothic Hearts Reading Challenge for the month of February. So I'm going to link it below. I really had a lovely conversation with 3 of my BookTube friends, D.L. Tillery, Aphrodite Lee, and Edie Lewis. Definitely check it out. We had a fun conversation, and I guarantee you we will do it again. Okay, so let's just take a look at what I got, and I'll try to remember to do close-ups of all of these books. So I love it when I find a Gothic romance book in the wild to add to my collection, and this was right there staring at me. This is called Orphan of the Shadows by Paula Minton. Seems like I've heard of that name before. Nice cover, pretty typical Gothic romance. This I picked up. It's a little beat up, but I'm like, I am going to read this book very soon, probably in the bathtub. And this is The Only Living Witness, a true account of homicidal insanity by Stephen G. McHod and Hugh Ainsworth. A true story of Ted Bundy. I've read the Anne Rule book, A Stranger Beside Me, I think is what it was called. Excellent. I don't have high expectations for this one, but you never know. But it was that cover photo that in the turtleneck. I've seen him in the turtleneck before, but I've never seen that photo. It's just so gross, and it's also repeated on the back. And there are black and white photos of the poor girls he murdered, just some, because apparently there were many, and his mugshots. I've said this before, I'm not a big fan of serial killers, but I do have kind of a fascination for Ted Bundy. I hate to say that, but yeah. So there we go. I'll read it. Looks like a good sleazy read. And then I grabbed a bunch of comics to add to my collection. So we have another Dark Shadows. I've collected quite a few of these now. These are all originals. Great cover designs. There's another Dark Shadows. And I have been reading some of them. Oh, and here's another Dark Shadows. Unfortunately, the cover is ripped on this one. It wasn't expensive. It was more than 20 cents, though, but it wasn't that expensive. And yeah, I think that's all. And then here is a Charlton Comics. I kind of remember Charlton Comics when I was a kid. I was a big comic reader as a kid. Well, I did read like some superhero comics. My favorite was Metal Men, which you never see anymore. I don't know if anyone even knows Metal Men, but I did like Metal Men a lot. Love comics were really my favorite, and Archie's, of course. Big time Archie fan, but yeah, it was mostly romance, I confess. But this one is called a Ghost Manor. I'm not really familiar with this, but hey, it looks cool. This is a DC comic, and this is a pretty thick one. 3 chilling comics in one. Okay, so that explains it. And this is called Unexpected. Got a little bit of a romantic vibe there. Prom Date from Hell, perhaps. Here's another one of the DC Comics Unexpected. Very cool cover. I found something that is, this is another Charlton Comics, and this is a combination of two things I absolutely love, Gothic and romance. And these are Haunted Love, Tales of Gothic Romance. So this is going to be the new comic that I collect, absolutely. Here's another one in a little better condition. Very cool cover. So I'm looking forward to just spending some time, just, nothing's better than just an afternoon in the hammock reading some horror comics. So that's what I plan to do this spring. And then this book, I just picked this up because it looked very cool. The Secret Art of Alchemy. And it has all these medieval illustrations and some color, I don't want to mess it up, some color plates as well. Very cool artwork and text. I have not, here we go. It's all about alchemy. I've always found the illustrations from this time period very creepy. Like in the religious art too. But I do love it. And finally, I was thrilled to find this. I didn't know this was a book, but I just immediately grabbed it, and it was not expensive. This is Horrifyingly Mad. More than 50 years of classic strips to scare you silly from Mad Magazine. My absolute favorite. I said I read comics growing up. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I learned how to read through Mad Magazine. I would read the Mad Magazine version way before I would actually see the movie. And they would merge together in my mind. They have some newer books, newer movies in here too. We have Wes Craven, The Sixth Sense. They always try to, did like a play on words. And I loved the art from Mad Magazine. So I seriously, I remember Rosemary's Boo Boo. Definitely remember reading that one. The Calamityville Horror. And the artwork is so good. I remember even as a kid loving the Mort Drucker comics. They were just, the illustrations were perfect. We have Frankenslime from the Kenneth Branagh film. I can't wait to dig into this. I'm so excited to find this. This is like my favorite thing in the world. And yes, this is how I learned to read. This was my primer as a 5-year-old. My cousin Billy, who was about 10 years older than me, was a big Mad Magazine collector. So he would give us all his old Mad magazines. I wish I'd kept all of them, but we would read them to death and just was a huge fan of this. So I'm excited to have some comics to read. Nothing's better than that. To put you in the mood just to enjoy and just to feel like a kid to get again, and then maybe do some alchemy when you're done. All the bases are covered here, so I'm very excited. I have plenty of reading material and some Ted Bundy and Gothic romance. This is just everything I love to read in a package, and I'm just thrilled. So thanks for sticking around to the end, because now I'm going to cut right to my bookshelf tour of my Gothic romance paperbacks. Let's cut to it right now. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing all my books from that era. I haven't read all of those, but I have read a few. And let me know in the comments below if you are familiar with any of the comics that I've talked about today or any of the books. I would love to hear your thoughts. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for stopping by my haunted library, and I'll see you soon. Bye!